proficiency is 26%, and it's much higher than it has been in the last 2 years, simply because we had to create some new schemas. One of the things I did when I first started teaching this unit, I realized that a lot of students come into Unit 2 when they're talking about atoms, molecules, elements, and others and things like that. They don't have absolutely any prior knowledge. So the first thing I came in the classroom, when I said the word atom, tell me the first thing come to your mind. Students said, and Eve. So, and then the thing about it is no one laughed. Like, they didn't so, like, okay, so I was like, well, I don't have much to work with. So I had to tell them, I was like, okay, the reason why we're going to draw this right here, because this is why. We have to construct knowledge to be able to hold this information. So I drew 2 trees on the board. I drew a tree like this, and I drew this tree right here. Right, and I kind of put a lot of branches on it, and I did just like this right here. I said, what's going to happen is, I said, right now, as far as atoms and molecules, we're right here. I said, in order to get from here to here, we got to be able to establish different branches. So they was like, okay, Coach, I don't think I'm that small of a tree. So as they was receiving information, they felt like, from time to time, they were kind of referring back, hey, Coach, I think my tree growing a little bit. And I think, so that's why, it was brand new information. We had to create brand new schemas. So we had to move from here to here. It's almost like building a house with absolutely no supplies. So that's why 26%, it's not an excuse, but however, they was kind of proud of, some of the students made a 67. They was like, I didn't even think I was going to make that. They was just so, amazed by that. So that's where we at on that, as far as that. All right, and the class average was 54%.
Okay, for me, my class, the same as Coach Kemp, with the student not having that prior knowledge to build anything on. I started out the unit, I pretty much started out with life and things in life and themselves, and tried to figure out what makes each person up, and from there build from there. And of course, my proficiency rate is 38%, and the what am I saying? Yeah, the average is 38% and the proficiency is 24%. Sorry about that. Also, we did, I think a lot of them still do mix up like chemical and physical changes. They're still not grasping it, so I have to sort of include that in warm-ups to go over it and tie it into energy change, because I see that they are carrying the concept over into the concept of energy, but they're mixing up matter with energy. So constantly I have to go back and forth differentiating between the two, because they're saying, okay, the conservation of matter, there is a conservation of matter, but they mix that up with a conservation of energy as well. And you have to let them know matter deals with, say, mass. That's the best way to explain it. Whereas energy deals with forms of energy like electrical, magnetic, and so forth. So we constantly have to go back and clarify. So what I've been doing, I've been trying to go back to warm-ups and review, reinforce, repeat. I think that's the only thing that's going to get them through this particular unit, because it's a harsh concept to grasp. It's abstract. And if you think about it in college, when we had it in college, it was easy for us because we had that prior knowledge building from middle school. But, it takes a while to build that foundation for them. We did, you can go to Coach Kim when we go to strategies.
These are the class averages. I think it was 69%. Oh, 69% for the first unit, 60% for the second unit. And that's not bad, because the first unit, they had prior knowledge. They knew something about potential and kinetic energy. They knew about forces. They understood about unbalanced and balanced force. They understood about simple machines, because they had it in elementary. However, they had absolutely nothing. They brought absolutely nothing to the class when they started talking about, like Ms. Dr. was saying, like physical and chemical changes. They had absolutely no information about that to connect to, so we had to kind of create those.
Now for myself, my average 64 and 58. I think for them, I started doing Cornell notes, and I know a lot of them, they're like, Cornell notes, we're not in high school. And trying to get them to understand that part of high school is note-taking and knowing what to write. You don't have to write a lot, but as long as you understand, to me, writing a word and a phrase is better understanding than writing this big, long sentence. It's to get them to grasp the concept and no more than 5 to 7 words to go with the concept. If you can do that, then you truly understand the concept. And that's what I've been trying to get them into, writing corner notes. We also had the science fair project. You can go on, I'm just going to lead into that. We also had the science fair project as well, so we were working on that, and 3 of my students made it to the district level. They got medals or little awards for participating in the science fair. So we had to work on that while working on this unit, as well as other things happening. So we work a lot in cooperative groups, lab groups. We did a lot of little mixing. I call it mixing for chemical and physical change. And they enjoy the mixing. They understand the mixing. And it goes back to when Ms. Claxton did that reading presentation, and I said I will probably implement a lot more of that in, because they understand the concept, but when they saw it on a test question, they're not able to break down the question so they can answer properly and correctly. Vocab is a big thing for science for us. What I've been doing a science notebook. Every 9 weeks they're required to have a science notebook. And that science notebook is for science only. They write their notes, they do their warm-ups, and the warm-up and closing are done together on one page, and the notes can be done separately. The glossary, they have to write the word. They have to write, I provide the meaning for them. However, I explain it in class, and then they have to either draw and their illustration of the word, or write a phrase to show that they understand the concept of the word. And so they're doing that a lot more. At first they were not very happy to do this. They're like, why can't we just write the word? But I told them that you've been writing the word and the meaning, that it hasn't been making connections in the brain. So now you have to make connections. You have to go a little step further and get something to connect with the word so you can remember the meaning. And we've been doing that. Study Island, we've been doing, but I'm finding that the kids don't like Study Island. It's like pulling teeth to do Study Island. So I'm trying.
Like, we should ex-night Study Island?
I think we should exit Gizmo. In Cobb County, when I did Gizmo, the kids were on Gizmo. They were really into Gizmo. They would get, it was an interactive science site, and I think social studies may be on it, I can't remember, but it was really good. They got into that. And it had good virtual labs that they could go in and do the labs themselves, and it provides a better understanding of the concept. But Study Island is not working.
Standards, the Gizmo.
The
Study
Gizmo
Island
is.
really isn't tied to the standard. I mean, it doesn't have enough.
And it seems like, like math, where I Excel bills, it doesn't seem to do that for them. It doesn't start at a foundation to give them a flat understanding. Here's the flat, below is ground zero, and they'll build from, they don't give that. So it's kind of hard for the kids to grasp the concept.
Is anybody loving Study Island?
I don't have any love for it. I can't figure out.
It's a lot of money, yeah.
I don't. And my kids have several login I found out, so some are in virtual reality. They've been doing it, and I can't find the points, data points. I don't know what that is, so
Okay.
I don't pretend or want to know maybe. Website, I've done the website where I have interactive sites. A lot of parents have asked, how can we help our kids in science because they're struggling? So on my website each week, I would post what we're doing. I would put up PowerPoints. I put links to help them, interactive links, enriching links. This is how you can practice. The kids start getting into it now where they're playing the games and they want to do it. So that's kind of good. They're finally grasping it. At first they resisted that, but I tell them you're going to high school. A lot of things are going to be online as well. A lot of instructors are putting their lectures online. The teachers are doing it, so it's a concept that they have to get used to going into high school. So I've been doing that, and graphic organizers. I think they like the labs, but one thing I'm finding when they do the labs, they just want to have the labs. They don't want to do the science behind the labs. And so I have to say, it's good to do the labs, but you have to understand the concept that the lab is trying to teach or explain or to make clear. And so that's our struggle.
And Ms. Dr. Anderson, one thing you said that stuck out to me was about the constructed, the kids can't understand the questions.
Mhm.
And I think that happens a lot, and I would work with you with, like, maybe we can do some strategies on how they can break down the questions. So I'll get with you on that.
Okay.
One of the things that I started this unit off is I took a project from my previous classes from years and years ago, and I showed them examples of the project. It's a periodic table project. It's a design by their own, and I told them that this is how it's going to be done. And I said, in order to do this project successfully, you have to be able to get all the information so you understand the process of moving to this project. And this is why we did the constructivist approach. A lot of the students, they are, like I said earlier, they took ownership of learning the information because I was like, okay, there's nobody that's going to motivate you more than yourself. I said, because once you understand that, you know, atoms and molecules and the protons, electrons, neutrons, they're all part of subatomic particles, they start just really, that language, they start feeling like, okay, I know something now. So at that time, they feel like, okay, I just got some branches. I got some more branches. I'm not a small little tree now. By the time we got to the project, I had more parents complaining because it was like, my son talking about they want to do Jordans and shoes and they want to do teams and stuff like that. And the parents didn't want them to do that because they felt like it wasn't relative to science. And it was. I was telling them, I was trying to show them that the groups are similar and the periods have some type of relation. So some of my students did, like the females, they did clothing items, they did lipsticks. I didn't even know that was that many lipsticks out there. They did, I had a student, one year, she did weave. And she broke it down into different types of weave, curly, synthetic, and all this other stuff, wavy. And she had it in groups. They had atomic number, atomic mass. They had the element number, element symbol. All of those was it. And they actually understood everything from building up from the beginning with atoms and how many electrons and protons, you know. So it kind of made it all come together by doing the projects. And a lot of, you know, I've been going to different conferences with parents. It was like, yeah, we did that project together. We stayed up all night, so the parents got involved. So the kids had to really know something to be able to tell the parents this is what they need. So it was kind of like a relationship between the parents and the kids. So that's